Okay, so we're going to work on week 2, assignment 1. This assignment covers the 3 modes of color that are discussed in our lectures. Those modes are traditional, additive, and subtractive. A traditional color wheel relates to the way colors mix in a painting situation. Additive color wheel relates to the way colors mix in light-based color situations such as a monitor or a television. Subtractive color wheel relates to ink or dye-based color where light is reflected off of a surface. We're going to work on the additive color wheel together, and then you can complete the traditional and subtractive color wheel. The first step for us to do is to set up a blend that's going to help us when we get to the later stages of the assignment. So I'm drawing a box, then I'm going to copy and paste that box so that I have 2 of them. Doesn't matter what colors they are at this point, we're going to use them in the future and establish certain colors for each one. You want to go ahead and set up a one-step blend by going to Object, Blend, Blend Options, One Step, and clicking OK. Alright, now our blend is set up, we don't have to worry about that for a while. There's this neat little feature in Illustrator that you can actually select your RGB colors from a swatch library, which is why I introduced you to the swatch libraries in week 1. So if you click on your fill color box, click on the swatch libraries, you can go to default swatches, basic RGB. RGB and additive color systems are the same thing. RGB stands for red, green, and blue. Red, green, and blue are the primary colors for the additive color wheel. So the primary colors on your color wheel are in the largest sections. If you click on a color, you see that RGB red pops up. This means that this is the red for your color wheel. So now you can drag and drop that red into the new position. Now let's find green, which is our second primary, and drag and drop to its position. Now let's find blue and drag and drop. The next thing for you to do is to establish your secondary colors for the RGB color wheel or the additive color wheel. When red and green mix, you get yellow. So let's drag and drop yellow to the secondary position. When green and blue mix, you get cyan. So let's drag and drop cyan to the secondary position. When red and blue mix, you get magenta. Now let's drag and drop. So we've used all the RGB colors from our swatch library that are appropriate. The next step for you to do is to set up a blend to establish the intermediary colors that go in between a primary and secondary. The first box you want to establish as a red fill box. So we have that one as red. The second box you want to establish as your secondary color, which is yellow. So let's drag and drop to that box. Now let's create a blend to establish the color that's halfway in between the 2 parent colors. So now we have the orange that is the intermediary step between red and yellow. To drag and drop that orange, you want to use your eyedropper tool. Hover over the orange, select it. You see that it pops up down here in your color picker. Now you can drag and drop. Let's do the second set. So now we've completed our additive color wheel. For your subtractive color wheels, the color that you have created on your additive color wheel will be exactly the same on the subtractive, however they will be in different areas. The primary colors for subtractive color wheel are cyan, magenta, and yellow, which you see are your secondary colors in an additive color wheel. So cyan, magenta, and yellow will be in your primary position, and red, green, and blue will be in your secondary position, and then the intermediary colors will be placed appropriately. For your traditional color wheel, your colors will be slightly darker than the colors that you've used in the additive and subtractive color wheel. To find those colors, I suggest closing the basic RGB palette, opening up your default palette, and using the swatches that are provided. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. In a traditional color wheel, you want to establish the three primaries in the larger position and the secondary colors in the middle position. As you can see with this red, it is slightly darker than the red that's chosen for the additive color wheel. All of your colors will be slightly darker. I suggest using the blend to create your tertiary or your intermediary colors. And again, don't forget to establish the color that should go in the center circle. The center circle should represent what happens when the three primaries are mixed. When three primaries are mixed, it's either going to create black or white, and you should establish if the three primaries for the color wheel create a black or a white.